Wasabi guys, I'm going to be doing something different here. I'm going to shake it up a bit. Instead of doing top 10s, I'm going to be doing a little series here where I just go through 10 underrated commander cards. Now, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people play with some of these cards, and basically these cards don't see as much commander play as I would like them to see. I think a lot of these are very good and deserving of a lot more play in this format. Let me remind you guys to subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of other good content. I have other top 10s. I have other related lists, as well as I do deck techs. I do rants. I do other certain things. So let's get on to this now. First card we have here is a land from Alliances, Soldevi Excavations. This card is really good. I would say out of the land cycle here from Alliances, this is probably the best one. It has the most utility out of the 5, I think. And Soldevi Excavations, when it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice an untapped island, which is the only bad thing about it. You do have that 2 mana. It does tap for 2 mana. Yeah, one is generic and only one of it's blue, but it's still 2 mana that it taps for, so you're not technically going down in mana. However, it has this activated ability, which is really cool. You can pay 1 mana and tap it, so you're technically going down 3 if you use this ability to look at the top card of your library. And if you don't like it, you can put it at the bottom. It's good for card draw fixing. It's not as good as, say, something like Sensei's Divining Top, but it definitely gives you that utility out of a land, which you don't really see too often. And I love the artwork too. It's a beautiful card. It's on the reserve list. I just like it, and I think it should definitely see a lot more play than what it does now. It sees very minimal play, and I don't think enough people know about it. Sandstone Oracle, an artifact creature from Commander 2015. I don't remember specifically the deck that it was in, but I do remember seeing it and liking it enough to put it in a lot of my decks. I put it in primarily my artifact decks, but it's just so good because when you have artifact creatures, you just have the ability to recur them either as artifacts or creatures. So you have that versatility, especially if you have graveyard recursion spells that you can bring back one or the other. The fact of the matter is that when it ETBs, you get to basically have your hand draw the number of cards, and until you have the same number of cards in your hand as an opponent who has more cards in your hand than you do, which is great. It can draw you a certain amount of cards. Usually going to draw you enough, especially if you're in an aggressive strategy where you're just dumping your hand out. So it's good in a lot of my red decks too. Whenever I played mono red with a focus around artifacts, definitely a good card. And it's a 4/4 flyer, so it's going to block for you all day. Definitely worth considering. Knight of the White Orchid. I think that, yeah, land tax is definitely a better card for this type of effect. However, I think it's definitely worth it if you're playing a human deck or you're playing on a budget. It's also a knight too, which is cool. If they ever decide they want to make a knight tribal legendary commander, that's definitely worth it. I think honestly, it's a good card. It's a 2/2 first strike for 2 mana. So right there you have the value right there. It's a decent body. It's 2 white, so yeah, you're going to be playing a white deck, and if you have ways of flickering it, you get the trigger all day long. And definitely just getting lands in general is always a good thing. You want to keep up with your opponents, especially if they have a better land ramp strategy. You definitely want to consider this card too, especially if you're playing white. I wouldn't say it's an auto-include over cards like Grand Abolisher or Mother of Runes, things like that. It's definitely holds its own though. It's a good card. Reality Shift, the first blue spell here, and this card, I swear by it. It's a great card. If you're playing on the budget, you can't really get much better than exiling removal, especially if it's cheap. It's 2 mana. Yeah, it's not Swords to Plowshare or Path to Exile, but it's definitely a good card. It's 2 mana. The only downside is, yeah, they could manifest and get something really good. Most likely that's not the case though, and usually what you exile is going to be worth it no matter what they get, for the most part. So in terms of blue has a tremendous lack of removal compared to other colors. It's usually either bounces or switches control of creatures. It usually doesn't destroy or exile. Exiling's always good. We also have like Pongify and Rapid Hybridization, but a lot of people already know those cards, and quite frankly I feel like this is better. It is 1 extra mana than those, but it's definitely worth it in blue. Forbid, another blue spell here, counterspell. I think the biggest deterrent here is that the buyback is 2 cards discarded. However, it's just great because a lot of blue decks in this format draw a ton of cards. And there's a lot of graveyard-based decks when you have the ability to discard 2 cards and sort of fix whatever your graveyard looks like. It's always nice when you can also put that on top of a counterspell effect, and it's 3 mana, so you're not paying any more mana into it for the buyback, so it's always a plus. And plus, it's just a good counterspell if you can't afford some of the more expensive ones in this format, like the Pact of Negations, the Force of Wills, the Mana Drains. It's definitely a good counterspell in its own right. Via Shino, Heretic, a great red creature. It's a great card. It taps and you destroy an artifact your opponent controls, and it deals damage to them equal to that artifact's converted mana cost. And it's really good. I mean, yeah, it takes a while to get it going. You have to either have a haste enabler to do it automatically, but it's really good. And having that precision to, say, destroy target artifact, there aren't too many spells in red that just destroy a target artifact and allow you to do that over and over again. We have some instants and sorceries that do that in red. This is just on a stick. Being able to do that is ridiculous. And also tacking on the damage too. It's just very good. I don't think enough people know about this card. Rite of the Raging Storm. This is one of those cards that makes games extremely political. It is 5 mana for red enchantment, and the number of decks you put this in can be limited. However, I feel that if you're trying to make an extremely political deck where a lot of people have fun and it's more based around giving yourself an advantage while sort of just throwing a bone to your opponents and say, hey, this is what happens if you attack them. You get this. And it's definitely one of those cards that I think people don't know enough about. I mean, 5/1s each upkeep, trample and haste, that's ridiculous. Incentivizing your opponents to attack each other is always good. It's definitely underrated. Hull Breach, this was on my top 10 Gruul list if you don't remember that. 2 mana, it is a sorcery, yeah, but you have the option of destroying 2 permanent types for 2 mana. It is Gruul mana. Being able to destroy either or is ridiculous, and I think that's awesome. For 2 mana, it's a 2 for 2, which is ridiculous. It's awesome, but yet not enough people play it. Ancient Excavation. For 4 mana in dimmer colors, you get something that allows you to draw a certain number of cards equal to the cards in your hand, and then you discard the same number of cards. So you're basically just saying, okay, I have 5 cards in my hand, I draw 5, and then I discard 5. That's ridiculous. Having that flexibility, there's so many graveyard-based decks in this format that just allow you, this allows you to fix whatever cards you want in your graveyard, put them in there. You could put dredge cards in there. You could put really good creatures in there for Mimeoplasm. You could put some good creatures in there and then play Living Death. There's a whole bunch of options here, and even at its core, it's a good draw spell. You're drawing a lot of cards with this usually for 4 mana at instant speed. It also has basic land cycling too, so if you're absolutely sure you don't want to play it, you have the option of getting rid of it. I honestly don't see why this card wouldn't see more play than it does. And I understand it's one of those cards that just got printed, so I think not enough people know about it yet. Put it in your dimmer color decks or any deck that's playing dimmer colors. It's really good. And next here, to finish this list off here, we have the only legendary creature on this list, and it's one that I feel I've always wanted to make a commander deck out of and build around it. And it does synergize with another card on this list here, Rite of the Raging Storm, and it is Gahiji, the Honored One. Definitely an interesting commander option, very political. You could sort of incentivize your opponents to attack each other, or you can build a strategy where you go wide and just attack with a bunch of tokens. Either way, it offers a more interesting experience, especially when we talk about Naya colors and creature-based decks in general. But it also fits well as one of the 99 in decks like, say, Kineo Centauro of Meletus, where you can build more of a political group hug strategy. And it's also good in, say, Mael the Anima. Not a terrible option in creature-based decks, so you have that flexibility there. He's extremely flexible, and you don't have to necessarily play him as a commander, play him as the 99. Just a great overall legendary creature, part of the commander set for 2013. I feel like it was one of those overlooked ones that people didn't really give much a chance. Definitely worth it if you haven't already considered playing him. I think he's an interesting and extremely underrated commander option. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, like and share it. Void Mage Gamer here, signing off. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.